Impress you the most about your team tonight?
Your
opposing coach said depth was the.
Yeah, I think, we're still trying to figure out the depth and the pieces, and I think it's like the yin and the yang is knowing when to play which piece, right? And I think that the thing I love most tonight, I've talked a lot about the team, is, being really ready to pass the baton. Because, some night it might be your night, and you're out there and you get a lot of the minutes, and the next night it may not be your night, and you got to give that baton because, man, so-and-so is on fire, or she's just D'ing them up. And I just thought tonight we were able to really, play free, and everybody was, I think, really, playing hard. Just really playing hard every possession and being really grateful out there. And I think that's what I like to see. But I think overall, I have so much respect for, Allison's a friend in the profession of mine, and obviously I love Drake. But that's a tricky offense. There's a lot of energy that's expended because there's slips and there's flares and there's, screen-aways, and you are working to try to slow it down. And I thought we did a really good job of that. I mean, we still got beat in some curls and transitions, but overall, I was happy with that.
You, before the season, said that you were trying to get Chit Chat to play with maybe more aggression and search for her shot more. It seems like she's catching on to that a bit. Just what have you seen from her in terms of maybe looking for her shots a little bit more?
Yeah, I feel like we've taken great growth. I thought this last week of practice, heading into the game of Evansville, and this week, I thought we really took a good jump. I thought every one of them was really on point, and they were willing to kind of go out of that comfort zone a little bit. And I thought, Chit Chat, and I think her confidence she got from the Evansville game. But we're going to need her to look for a shot and hit it as consistently. So I am pleased with that. And she is trying to be more vocal to live up to that name. We're still working on that, but I'm liking the improvement.
Jeff, second game in a row with 30 plus assists, second game in a row with 6 kids in double figures. I mean, how tough is this team getting to beat a guard?
Well, I hope that, it remains, a consistency and, not just an anomaly. But I feel like it has that potential. I think, when you're in the forming stages of a team, everybody's competing and everybody's jockeying, and then, the roles are settling. But if we can keep up that mentality and that consistency, I do think that makes us, if you can bring off really great people who could potentially start off the bench, and everybody is, sitting good with that role, I think you can be really, really, effective. And so again, it's just such a young season, and again, we haven't gone against a lot of size, right? I thought Drake did a really good job trying to take our ease of which we scored inside away without the double. I'm optimistic, but also cautious about it because we just haven't seen any teams that are consistently bigger, faster, stronger yet.
How beneficial is Journey's kind of energy, defensive presence been off the bench?
Yeah, I think what she brings is just that motor. I love her motor, and she's, getting in there and doing what she can do, and she's always got a hand on it, right? She's got a good sense. I mean, how many couple passes she flipped it, just had a feel of where to go with the ball. But I think she energizes us when she gets in there, and I think if we can keep improving her and, keep her growing and understanding the offense and her role within it, I think she can become a really fun spark plug for us.
Jan, being a Drake alum, is it still exciting for you to be able to compete against Drake, especially in the role as head coach at Iowa?
Yeah. I think it's just bittersweet. It's just I think if you're blessed and have a good college experience, those years are so formative. And what Drake gave me, I owe so much to that place and the people. And Drake is really good people still to this day. And that's just, I'm for them every other game. So I don't really enjoy that. I looked in the crowd. I don't see as many now I used to see, man, 15, 20 years ago when I first moved over here, you just knew the whole blue section. Now I don't see as many, but when I look there, there's still a few, right? So it's, it just is, it's a relief when it's over, but certainly when the ball goes up, it's just another opponent. But I think certainly like a game like today, I mean, you coach long enough, you're on both sides of a margin like that. And it just can go south on you sometimes, and, we got a little bit hot. But I think the world of, Drake and certainly Allison. And they are really hard to guard. And when those guys, I mean, they're pretty young with who's in those key positions. When you think about Katie Dennebeer last year, right? Like a Grace Knudsen didn't get all those minutes, so they're learning and flowing. But Alsma and Knudsen, I mean, they're going to be real good in time. I just respect them, but I'm glad the game's over.
Kyle.
I know that this is another game where you look at the stat sheet and there's a lot to like, but that 25-0 run early in the game, just what did you like during that stretch of play that put you guys in control?
I just thought our energy was so good, and we were pretty focused and on point, putting a lot of pressure on that rim both ways. We were flying down and trying to hit it inside if we could, but we had some good outside shots. But I just felt our focus and urgency was so good. Usually a team, I feel, when they're really rolling and rocking, their sense of urgency is really trumping everything else. They're just so urgent to the break both ways, transition defense, transition offense. They're urgent to get to their defensive positioning. They're urgent at running the offensive pace. And I thought, for early in the season, those stretches when it really was humming, I thought that's where I was seeing a lot of great growth. And then, the second quarter, we got stagnant again. But when you do have those moments, I just think they were playing with the pace and an urgency. And that really made me happy.
I know it's up early, but just preliminary thoughts on UNI.
Yeah, I haven't watched them too much yet because I kind of do that. I don't look ahead too much. I know what, Tanya is another friend in the profession, and Brad Nelson. We've been all doing it a long time, and we battled, and you don't deviate a lot, but I know they're going to play hard. I think they have some unique defense. They lost a few key people from last year as well, but I don't have a lot of big take on them. But by about midnight to 1, I will. If you want to text you. Probably missed deadline though, Jeff.
Last one. Taylor got to guard her sister for a little bit. How much did she push to try to get you to have her do it more?
They have a great relationship, very competitive. But she was, she just, like any sibling, you want the bragging rights. But I think when it's all said and done now, I'm sure they're kind of relieved that is over. But Taylor McCabe is as competitive as they come. And you can be sure that she wanted to do nothing more than to beat her sister. But she didn't really, one way or the other, like, sometimes you can have situations, whether it's a sibling or maybe a really good best friend that shows, and you have to know your person, your player. Sometimes that freaks them out. Taylor was not freaked out, I know that.